We are Team Phoenix and we will be presenting goal setting. We will look at how the concept of goal setting aligns to the employee life cycle with specific focus on motivation. A generic employee life cycle within an organization follows 6 steps. Attraction, when an employee is attracted to the organization. Recruitment, when the employee applies for that vacancy. Selection, when the employee is selected for that vacancy. Onboarding, when the employee is orientated on that position and through the company. Ongoing performance management, as well as attrition or leaving the organization. Leaving the organization is determined by a number of things such as career development opportunities, financial rewards, job content, etc., etc. Motivation applies to the 4th and the 5th steps. Motivation is the force that energizes behavior, gives direction to behavior, and underlies the tendency to persist, even in the face of obstacles. Different theories are linked to motivation, but we will be focusing on the goal setting theory. And under this goal setting theory, we'll be focusing on management by objectives, better known as MBO, Locke's five principles, as well as SMART objectives. The goal setting theory is a theory that dictates that performance can be increased through goal setting. It's based on the premise that individuals are given measurable goals rather than vague performance standards. We have highlighted key components to the goal setting theory. We have firstly looked at MBO, which is management by objectives. This is a strategic framework that was developed in the 1950s by Peter Drucker and is used to improve the performance through clearly defined objectives. Performance improvement is made possible through the following 6 steps. Defining of the organizational goals, defining employees' objectives, continuous monitoring performance and progress, performance evaluation, providing feedback, as well as performance appraisals. We then move on to Edwin Locke's 5 principles of goal setting. Goals need to have clarity. They need to be challenging. There needs to be commitment. There also needs to be regular feedback, as well as some sort of task complexity. These objectives need to be smart, meaning they need to be specific, they need to be measurable, they need to be attainable, they need to be relevant, as well as being time-bound. We will look at how a department at ABSA puts this theory into practice. At the beginning of the year, the strategic objectives for that business unit are set up and agreed upon by the team. Then, based on these objectives, each team member sets up their individual performance objectives, and these are agreed upon by the line manager. So this is employee-led. Then regular sessions are held with the team to review progress and the status of the objectives, so that, should support be needed, it is provided timeously. In the middle of the year, there's then a review session. This is to determine whether the objectives are still relevant and necessary, and if any other new objectives need to be incorporated. An example of this would be last year with COVID. At the beginning of the year, no one would have thought of COVID. But middle of the year, things had to be reviewed as way of working had completely changed. Then in October, there's a formal performance evaluation, which is held with the team leader to review performance against the objectives. Feedback is then provided by the manager and other stakeholders within the organization on that year and the performance of that team member. Towards the end of the year, an appraisal process then follows, where bonuses are allocated based on this performance, as well as salary increases are determined.